The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
This is Talkin' Rock. Talkin' Rock. Your backstage pass to some of your favorite rock artists. Here's your host, Meltdown.
Yes, my guest today is comedian Craig Gass. Normally I don't put comedians on my Talkin' Rock podcast, but Craig is a rock and roll comedian with his impersonations of Paul and Gene from Kiss and Lars Ulrich and Sebastian Bach, all of which are well represented on today's podcast. He gave me a shout last week, and he's like, hey, man, you going to Sebastian Bach on Sunday? He just played here over the weekend. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. And so, of course, him and Sebastian are buds, and he went up and did this really funny thing on stage, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. Something he's done in before System of a Down is taken to the stage, and Metallica and whatnot. So really funny stuff from Craig Gass. If you're hearing this, you're in the Southeast Michigan area. He's playing Thursday, the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st at One Night Stands in Waterford. So without further ado, you can watch this on YouTube as well. It's Craig Gass on Talkin' Rock. Hey, it's Meltdown here with my friend Craig Gass, and he is going to be in town this week at One Night Stands. We'll talk about that in Waterford, but he's been here for actually a few days because he came in and saw Sebastian Bach at District 142, man. That was awesome.
It was great, and then Sebastian, I hit him up for tickets.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can I come to the show? And he said, dude, fucking come on stage. Do something on stage, man. And I was like, all right. And his idea was he runs a video of me in his music video for What Do I Got to Lose, where I'm walking through the desert doing an impression of him before he pulls up in a car and says, get in the car and we'll go party.
Hysterical, by the way.
Yeah. It was his idea to do that thing. And he said, let's do something like that before I go on stage. And then, but he also wanted you to introduce him. And I said, how about I go out and do some stand-up, and then I'll introduce Meltdown. Meltdown introduces you. And he's like, love it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, just so you know, and I just said one sentence, I'm just going to go on stage and pretend that I work for you. And he was like, cool. And he didn't watch anything that I did, which fucked his whole show up.
Dude, that was the funniest. That was the funniest part about it, because for people that weren't there, you told the crowd that he's going to introduce each member of the band. And like, for example, his son Paris, it's his birthday, and
right. So backing up a little bit, I walked out on stage, and this is how I've opened for Metallica. This is how I've opened for System of a Down, Pantera, Motley Crue, Alice in Chains, The Struts, et cetera, as I go out on stage and I say, good evening. My name's Craig. I'm the band's tour manager. And everybody cheers.
Yeah, right.
And I go, the band has asked me to make some very important announcements. And you can hear a pin drop, like, what's these announcements? And then I start making up shit.
Right.
And everything I say is really cool, but also bullshit.
Right.
And it's just so I can fill in the gaps with some jokes. And like, one of the announcements is always, you may have heard some rumors, and it's true. We are recording our first ever live album right here. So I need your attention. There's a proper way to yell on a live album, so we need to rehearse this. And they follow every dumb instruction I give them.
Well, the best part about it was that the band was backstage. They were listening to you.
Yeah.
But Sebastian was doing his warm-ups.
Right. He's still upstairs stretching and warming up his vocals. Yeah.
He had no idea. So then you're telling everybody that it's his son's birthday.
Yeah, I go, it's his birthday, so when they say, please welcome on the drums, my son Paris, you got to yell, happy birthday, because we're recording it.
Right.
We're recording, and then the one that fucked him up was I said, over here on stage left is Bruiser Brody, his guitar player. And one thing you need to know about Bruiser Brody, this guy has the biggest dick I've ever seen in my life. This guy's dick is it has an elbow in it. His dick has a watch on the end of it. Like, it was all these like crazy stories about how big his penis is. And I said, so it's really important that we capture this during this live recording. When he says, on the guitar, please welcome Bruiser Brody, you all need to yell, show us your dick. All right, now let's rehearse it. And they rehearsed it. And then I said, and then when it's the drummer, you say, happy birthday. And everyone had a special announcement. And it blew me away that Sebastian shows up and goes, how was it? And I go, oh, you didn't see it? And he goes, no. And then he goes out on stage. And then 2 songs into the set, he goes, I want to introduce a very special person on guitar. And he almost, the way I said he was going to say it, he says, please welcome Bruiser Brody. And the whole room goes, show us your dick. And he goes, what? It was classic. It was great because he didn't hear any of it.
Yeah. And then he welcomes his son and everyone says happy birthday. He's like, it's not his birthday.
Yeah, I mean, every fucking announcement kept
that worked to a T.
Well, man. You know how this all started. I have to give you the backstory of this. And I don't know if you know this story, but I think you'll love this story. The first big band that I got to open for was Metallica. And that's how this whole thing starts 20-something years ago. And the way I got the gig with Metallica was the result of a prank phone call. Do you know that story, the prank phone call I made to Lars?
No, but go ahead.
So I was working on the Howard Stern show at K-Rock at the time. So this would have been 2001, 2002-ish. And our midday... Oh, no, this was after that. Because our midday guy, Woody, ended up going to St. Louis. And he's now doing afternoons in St. Louis. Now he's doing a morning show in L.A. Mm-hmm. But Woody was doing middays at this rock station in St. Louis. And he said, dude, next time you come to St. Louis, you could just come on a show and just hang out the whole show. And so when I got into St. Louis, my first day in, I get my rental car and I start driving to the radio station. And I found Woody's radio show on the dial. And I couldn't believe, I was blown away. He has Lars Ulrich on the phone live. Mm-hmm. And so he's keeping Lars on the phone because he knows this is a big deal. So he's got Lars Ulrich on the phone and he's not playing any songs. He's not playing any commercials and he's got no delay. And every 5th or 6th word coming out of Lars's mouth is a doozy.
Yeah.
And then I'm driving and I can't believe that this is just going on and on. It's like 20, 30 minutes of this. And then I get to the radio station. He's still on the air. I walk in the building. He's still on the air. The receptionist finally grabs me and takes me upstairs to the studio. He's still on the air. I walk in the studio. I look at my buddy Woody and I go, dude, am I coming on? He goes, I can't get rid of him. I don't know how to. And he goes, here, just grab a seat over here. And he goes, let me just, Lars, let me just, no, that is cool. That's very cool. Lars, let me just interrupt you for 1 second. Okay, for those of you just joining the broadcast, we have Lars Ulrich on the phone from his house in San Francisco. And Lars, you're not going to believe this, and he starts pointing at me to point me to a microphone. He goes, and I was like, no. And he goes, we have a couple special guests that want to say hello to you. Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons are in the studio right now, and they wanted to say hi. And Lars goes, is that really Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons from Kiss? And he goes, yeah, guys, say hi. Hey, Lars, this is Paul Stanley. And this is Gene Simmons from Kiss. And I'm going to get right to the point, Lars. A lot of people steal from Kiss. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows this. But on the new Metallica record, it was Saint Anger. Yeah. It was the new record.
No one sold anything off that, by the way. But go ahead.
I think you've gone a little too far on the new album. And I'll give you a perfect example. I want you to name one original song on the new album, Saint Anger. And Lars goes, I think all the songs are pretty original. And I said, right. But if you had to pick one song, what would it be? I guess if I had to pick one song, it'd probably be, and he gave me a song title. And I said, that's a great song, Lars, but I'm going to be honest. I liked it a lot better the first time I heard it when it was called Beth. And he said, how the fuck do you hear Beth in the middle of a Metallica song? It doesn't even make any sense. And he started arguing with a fake Paul Stanley and a fake Gene Simmons. And then at some point, my buddy, the radio buddy, jumps in and goes, hey, guys, stop fighting for 1 second. Lars, can I just poke in here for 1 second? We have a talk radio station next door door to the rock station here in the same building. And they have a movie critic that comes in every Friday who does movie reviews. And he has real movie stars to come in and talk about movie releases that are coming out. He has Christopher Walken in the studio. Do you mind if Christopher Walken comes in? He wants to say hello to you. Is that really Christopher Walken? It is. Hey, Lars, it's Christopher Walken. I love Metallica because I love cocaine. I love cocaine. And he starts having a conversation with a fake Christopher Walken while a fake Paul Stanley and a fake Gene Simmons keeps trying to pick a fight with him. At some point, I started chiming in as Phil Anselmo for some reason and going, hey, Lars, check it out. And then finally, my buddy goes, hey, guys, I need to stop for 1 second. Lars, you're not going to believe this. The comedian Sam Kinison just walked in the studio. And I go, hey, Lars, I don't know if you remember this, but I did a lot of cocaine with you that you stole back in 1985. Oh! There's a long pause, and Lars Ulrich goes, didn't that guy die like 30 years ago? We go, yeah, it's really weird. And then finally, my buddy Woody jumps in and goes, hey, Lars, I'm sorry. I have to stop all this right now. Lars, we were just having some fun with you. This is a comedian friend of mine named Craig Gass. He's on the Howard Stern show, blah, blah, blah. And Lars goes, dude, are you going to be in St. Louis when we get there? And I said, no, I don't live in St. Louis. I live in New York, so I will not be here. And he said, well, dude, next time you come to a Metallica show, I'd love to hang out with you. And I was like, I'd love to hang out with you too, dude. I fucking love you, Lars. And I thought that was it, and it was over. A week later, I'm back home in New York. Gary, our producer, walks up to me and goes,
hey, so I got a really funny story for you. Apparently, one of the guys in Metallica is trying to get a hold of you, man. And he wants you to call a guy from Elektra Records, and you need to call this phone number.
and he gave me a phone number for this guy who I called up, and I said, or the guy said to me, I don't know who you are, but Lars Ulrich wanted me to reach out to you because we're doing a promotion for the new album, Saint Anger, where we're going to take over a rock radio station in Denver called KBPI, and we're going to syndicate this to 20 different markets around the country. And I guess you do impressions, and Lars wants you to co-host the show with him. And I ended up co-hosting the show a couple weeks later in Denver, and then Lars gives me a laminate. Lars doesn't give me a laminate. He gives me his laminate to go to the Metallica show the next night at the football stadium, and which is where this legendary moment happened. I think you know about my background and about my family.
Oh, yeah.
My whole,
I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, my whole family's deaf. The short version is that my whole family, my mom, my dad, my sister are all completely deaf. That's why I've been able to do impressions, because I had to learn how to talk by watching TV, and I copied all the voices I heard on TV. So I walk into the stadium. Lars's assistant grabs me and says, hey, Lars wants to say hi to you and introduce you to the rest of the guys. I go into this locker room. Lars brings me in. The other three members of Metallica are sitting at a table, and Lars Ulrich says, hey, man, this is Craig. This is the guy who does all the voices. And check it out. His whole family is retarded. I go, they're not retarded. They're deaf. My family's deaf. They're not retarded. Like, it was like, yeah, he kind of messed it up a little bit over there. But you know, well-intended. But that leads to me calling Lars when they announced they were going to do a special show in New York City at the Bowery Ballroom right after the Video Music Awards, I think in 2002. And they said the only way to get tickets, it only holds 1,000 people. You can only win tickets. You can't buy them. And to get the tickets, you have to go through the Metallica fan club or my radio station, K-Rock, to win tickets. Mm-hmm. And I called Lars and left him a message and said, if Metallica had any balls, you would let a comedian open for you when you get to New York. And he called. I still have the voicemail, by the way. I'm sure. Do you ever save messages from people?
Oh, yeah.
I got a short message on my voicemail. Boop. Hey, man, this is Lars. Yeah, I just talked to James and Kirk and some of the other guys. And yeah, come down, do a couple 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is you do, and let's have some fun, huh? And I go down to the venue, and then it hits me when I get there. Everyone here's on coke. What am I doing? Like, why am I trying to do stand-up? And I got really scared. And instead of doing a stand-up set, I walked out on stage and said, good evening, my name's Craig, and I am Metallica's tour manager. And the instantaneous respect and attention that I got from that allowed me to tell jokes. And I've repeated it and kind of like molded it every show, every time I got asked to do it. And Alice in Chains brought me out for a full tour to do that. So yeah, man, that's how that whole thing started. So.
That's awesome with the Alice in Chains too. And it's funny because when we were walking in here, you kind of said to me, man, can you believe that we get to like do this every day? I've been doing this for 36 years, living in this rock and roll world. It is kind of insane.
Yeah, like this weird moment happens the other day when you go, I go, yeah, man, I'm gonna come down to the Sebastian show. And you go, oh, dude, I'll be at the show. Well, let me know. Let's meet up there. And I'm on my way there, and you go, I got an all access for you. And I was like, no shit. And then the tour manager's like, yeah, I got an all access. And I go like, oh man, I got one, you got one.
Yeah,
like,
right.
And I was like, how cool is it that we've gotten to a place where we're allowed in to, like, because for so long you love this music, and you want to get close to it, and for so long it's like, how do I? Like I wanted to be in the music business, but I have no talent.
Yeah, that makes two of us, right?
Like I can't play any instrument.
Right.
I didn't, but and I ended up like I started out managing bands when I was a kid. When I was like 15, I used to book and promote concerts from the time I was 15 till I was 23. I started doing stand up at 23, and that's when I realized, oh, this is what I want to do. I really want to be on stage. I don't have any talent, but I'd like to be on stage and try to be funny. And then being funny led to my relationships with all my favorite bands, because every band is loaded with goofballs. They're all goofy and silly.
Someone told me, I'm trying to remember who it was. Someone told me that Sean Kinney's a really funny dude, and and
dude, I was just about to say the one band that has some of the most serious, moodiest music, but is loaded with the 4 goofiest fucking people I've ever met in my life is Alice in Chains. Sean Kinney is a total cornball. We're actually doing a show together in about 2 weeks. I'm hosting a charity event with some of the guys in Alice in Chains, and Nancy Wilson from Heart's going to perform at.
It's up in Seattle?
At the Moore Theater, yeah. And 2 of the guys from Shinedown are going to perform there too.
I was talking to somebody, and I said, and this was a couple years back, and I said, I'm going to go see Alice in Chains there. And whoever I was talking to said, make sure you tell Sean Kinney I said hello. He is the funniest dude. And that's, I think, the only time I've ever met him. And I walked up and I said, hey, so-and-so said hello. And he, oh, man, I love that. Whoever it was, I can't remember.
Yeah, he's a totally goofy guy. Jerry, who's a quiet guy, has a secret like comedian inside of him where his outgoing voicemail messages, he will work for hours at a time creating sound effects and saying, you've reached Bob's Big Barn Junkyard. Leave a message. And you hear all these weird sounds in the background. It's like, we got lots. We got cars. We got metal parts. We got, whatever you need. We got your stuff at the junkyard. And then Mike Inez is like, I remember hanging out with Mike and his wife, Sydney. And the beginning of the conversation was him mentioning, Sydney's having a bad day. She's on her period. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And I said, hey, next week, do you guys want to get together and go to that new movie that's coming out? And he goes, well, I do, but fucking ketchup pants over here. And I went, what? I was like, and she just kind of, and I was like, ketchup pants? What the?
Yeah, so. That's a new one I've never heard. You know what's funny? I don't think I could change my outgoing voicemail if I tried. I don't even know what it says, to be honest. I haven't changed it in years.
Really? Well, who's on your outgoing voice? Is it just you saying?
Just me saying, hey, leave a message. I don't know. Nobody calls anybody anymore.
I will. I've done a bunch of voicemails for people. I'll do them at my shows. Like, hey, if you want me to do the voicemail message, I'll do it for a fee. And then sometimes I'll call people up and I'll forget. And I'll be like, holy shit, how'd you get Morgan Freeman to do this? And I'll be like, oh shit, is that me doing Morgan Freeman? No way. Like, dude, there was one time it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. I just woken up. My phone's vibrating. I look, it's Paul Stanley. I haven't talked to Paul Stanley in years. And I'm assuming he's got to be mad about something. Why is he calling me at 9 o'clock in the morning? I don't pick up. 9:10, Paul Stanley starts calling and I go, oh shit. And I start pacing and I just start rehearsing. Paul, that was a long time ago. I've changed a lot. Like I'm going through this, like, how am I gonna, calls a third time and I'm like, holy fuck. And then he sends me a text. Hey, I'm trying to call you. It's Paul Stanley. Oh my God. And within 20 minutes, the phone rings for a 4th time and I pick up and I go, hello? And he goes, hey Craig, it's Paul Stanley. And I go, hey man, what's going on? And he goes, not much. How are you? And I go, doing good, doing good, doing good. What's going on? What's going on? And he goes, I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and he has Morgan Freeman got to do his voicemail, and it's so funny. And I just started thinking, you do so many great impressions. I just wanted to know if maybe you could do like an Al Pacino something on my voicemail. And I go, okay. And he's like, would you do that? And I go, Paul, that's how I spend all my free time. Yeah, what do you want me to do? And he goes, just something like Son of a Woman or something. I was like, yeah, all right, cool. And I was like, fuck, that's... So I very quickly, I do a quick thing where I just said, hi, this is Al Pacino. You've reached the Star Child's voicemail. Leave a message. And don't ramble on, because I know where you live. I'm coming to your house, and I'm taking a flamethrower to that motherfucker. And I sent it, and with a little note, and I said, let me know if you have any notes. And he texted me right back and goes, yeah, I have some notes. And I was like, what? And he goes, why are you cursing? And I said, oh, is that? And he goes, yeah, don't curse. What do you? And I go, all right. So I redid it without cursing. And he goes, that was perfect. Thank you. And I go, thank you. And he goes, do you want to perform with Kiss on the Kiss cruise? And I was like, I would love to perform with Kiss. And then I got an offer from the promoter, and then boom, boom, boom.
How many Kiss cruises have you done? This is a funny story.
It's a sensitive question. It's a sensitive question because I've done 4, I think, but I upset the Kiss fans on one of them.
Uh-oh.
Really? You don't know about that? Dude,
no.
On one of the Kiss cruises, I think it was the first or second one, I get on, and I'm on the Kiss cruise, and I can't believe, as I enter the ship, I'm like, holy shit. And I'm sure you have this feeling too when you go to a show. It's like, I'm friends with these people. I'm friends with the management. I'm fairly friendly with the band. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely friendly with the road crew. This is incredible. Like I'm part of the family on some level here.
Right.
And then I did something on that cruise that, oh my God, those Kiss fans, they're called the Kiss Army. I did something that pissed off those Kiss fans. They hate me more than Gene Simmons ever did because I met a girl who was the cruise director. She's really upbeat and pep. She's like the Julie McCoy.
Right. I was gonna say Julie. Right.
Julie McCoy of the Kiss cruise. And when she meets me, she goes, "Oh my God, are you Craig?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "You're Craig. You're the comedian. You're the guy who does all the voices with like the Family Guy and the." Do you want to do a funny announcement on the Kiss cruise tomorrow morning? And I went, "Oh, fuck yes!" Like, well, let me ask you a question. If I make an announcement, who's going to hear the announcement? And she goes, "Well, if you want, we can flip a switch and it'll get piped into every cabin." And I went, flip that switch. I know exactly what I want everyone to wake up to tomorrow morning. The next morning, 3,000 of the biggest Kiss fans in the world at sea woke up to bing bong.
Hey everybody, this is Paul Stanley and this is Gene Simmons from Kiss. And we have a very important announcement. Do not panic, but we have a very important announcement about the Kiss cruise.
At that moment, my friends on the ship said that all the fans on the boat just stopped in their tracks and they're looking at the speakers and smiling until the next words that came out of my mouth.
We've just hit an iceberg.
Which, keep in mind, when I said we hit an iceberg, we're in the middle of the fucking Bahamas. Right. There's no reason for you as an intelligent person to go, the ship's going down. The ship's going down. We're in the Bahamas.
But do not panic because Kiss is going to take care of everybody. We actually have 3 packages to get you off the ship. First, we have the platinum package. It's $5,000. We'll put you in a life raft and you have your own private photo and medical care from Kiss. Then we have the diamond package. Isn't that right, Paul? That's right, the diamond package.
For $10,000, where we throw you in the ocean with Tommy and Eric. And then Kiss floats by on a raft. We do a private acoustic. Everything I said was just stupid.
Right.
And several members of the Kiss Army ran to the employees and said, So Kiss is going to charge us to get off the boat? Is that what's going on? They genuinely believe that Kiss was capable of charging people to get out of an emergency, which was amazing. It really
That is so funny.
says a lot about the fandom. You know what I mean?
Man, hit an iceberg. Wow, in the middle of the Caribbean.
I mean, dude, these moments, again, I can't believe it. It's like, right now on this date that we're recording this, it just so happens that Gene Simmons is on his way here to Detroit the same week that I'm here.
Well, I think he's coming in like 3 weeks.
Oh, is he coming in 3 weeks?
Yeah, like April 9th.
Oh, I heard, I'm hearing from people at Rock and Brews that he's going to be at the Rock and Brews thing tomorrow.
No, April 9th is when he's supposed to be there. He might be there tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe he will.
Okay.
Be. I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
But,
so that's what I've heard.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah. And, which will be interesting. There was one time when, I've never been alone with Gene Simmons, and that's intentional.
Yeah.
I'm scared. I was in Las Vegas a few years ago before I got my own place in Las Vegas, and I tweeted out, I'm at the Rio Hotel, joke, looking for an apartment or something to live at. But I'm at the Rio Hotel. Someone who works for Kiss texted me and said, dude, are you at the Rio Hotel right now? And I said, I am. What's up, buddy? And he said, I'm downstairs at the Kiss mini golf. There's a very famous Kiss miniature golf place inside the Rio Hotel. Mm-hmm. And he said, I'm downstairs with Gene. He wants to talk to you. And I went, and I didn't respond. I was like, and then a comedian friend of mine from Providence calls me up. He goes, hey, bro, what are you doing? And I go, I'm avoiding Gene Simmons right now. He goes, what do you mean you're avoiding Gene Simmons? And I go, dude, I'm in the Rio Hotel. I tweeted that I'm at the Rio Hotel. Someone who works for Gene just texted me and said, hey, man, come downstairs because there's a famous Kiss mini golf place downstairs in the same hotel that I'm at. And he said, Gene Simmons is here. He wants to talk to you. And I'm afraid to talk to him. And my friend goes, why? And I go, I've never been alone with him. And I'm afraid that he's waiting to be alone before he lets me know how he really feels about me and he's going to kick my ass. And my buddy goes, dude, are you kidding me? If Gene Simmons beat the shit out of you at a Kiss mini golf, do you know how great that story would be?
Best story ever, right?
Best story. You get your ass kicked at a Kiss mini golf.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? You're right. I put on my flip-flops. I went downstairs and I was ready for my beating. And instead, I just see a smiling Gene Simmons. He's hanging out with two guys from another country who have each paid something like $5,000 to just hang out with him for an afternoon. And I come downstairs and he sees me and he goes, oh, here we go. Go ahead. And I went, what am I? And he goes, go ahead. Come on. And I go, oh, you want me to some jokes? And he goes, no, impressions. Come on. Go. Let's go. And I go, oh, hey, I'm Craig. I'm a comedian. I do an impression of him and I start doing impressions for them. And at one point, his friends say, how long does it take you to do, how do you learn how to do that? Do you practice? And I said, no, it's actually kind of a weird story. I've always had an ability to do voices because I grew up in a family that's deaf. And they were like, is that true? And I go, and before I can finish, Gene goes, it's true. His family's deaf and he's dumb. And I went, what? You asked me to come down here. What do you, yeah. So
we're in Detroit. Do you ever do the Nuge?
I've never tried. You know what? Not only have I never tried to do the Nuge, I could swear, does somebody do a Nugent impression that I'm not?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not really familiar. But he has a distinct voice, so I thought that maybe.
Okay, tell me a famous sentence that Ted Nugent says, and I will try a Ted Nugent impression right now.
All right, it's the Wango Tango.
All right, it's the Wango Tango. Okay,
remember that?
All right, it's the Wango Tango.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
It's the Wango Tango. All right, here's my first attempt.
All right, let's see.
At Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent, let's see.
And keep in mind, my Ted Nugent impression sounds a lot like Tracy Morgan. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, it's the Wango Tango.
Okay, now that's not even close. That's not even close.
Or maybe it's the onstage Paul Stanley. All right, people. Yeah. Did I ever tell you about the rap that I saw him do in Las Vegas? Paul Stanley on stage in Las Vegas goes, all right, people, now listen. I know this town, Las Vegas, Nevada. It's known for its buffets. And I can tell you right now, I see a lot of people in the front row that I really want to eat. And he started fixing his hair and I went, the fuck? I see the same tour, 2 months later in New York City, and I bring a bunch of comedians backstage with me. Steve Byrne, Jim Norton, Jeff Ross. I bring them all backstage. And I'm introducing them to everybody with Kiss. And anytime an employee of Kiss walks by, I go, hey, did you hear Paul in Vegas say he was going to eat the front row? 3 different guys who work for Kiss said, did you hear what he said in Omaha? And I went, what? And he goes, ask about what happened in Omaha. Just ask what his stage rap was. And apparently on stage in Omaha, he goes, all right, people, now listen. You know, I know this town, Omaha, Nebraska, is known for its Angus beef. And I can tell you right now, after this show, I see a lot of people in the front row that I really want to eat. Oh, no. He said, no, I want to sink my teeth into some meat. And the crowd went, what? And he goes, now, wait a minute. Hold on. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about a thigh or a rump roast. And the crowd went, what? And apparently the guitar techs behind the stage were going, what's he doing? Like, everybody was confused. I want to eat some meat and I want to sink my teeth into a rump roast. It was like,
yeah, he was trying to get the whole Kiss thing going, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hey, tell everybody about your show. I gotta get out of here, man. I can stay here all day and talk to you. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Craig Gass. I am a comedian and I am usually funny. And I am performing in Waterford this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. At what is that?
One Night Stand.
19th to the 21st.
Okay, yeah.
At One Night Stands. March 19th to the 21st at One Night Stands. Stan is the name of the owner of the club. It's like Stan, like Eminem Stan.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
do you do Eminem?
Well, I love Eminem.
No, do you do impersonation?
Oh, do an impersonation of Eminem? Yes. My Eminem.
Does it sound like Tracy Morgan?
It sounds like Adam Sandler. I'm the really Slim Shady Shibidoo. That was terrible. I'm sorry. But
yeah, One Night Stands this weekend. So Thursday, and I know Christina and Joey are going to try to come down Thursday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, right on, man. Yeah, it's going to be, it's always a lot of fun, and I'm inviting Detroit people that I've met here over the years. I'm inviting, and I feel like an asshole for saying this. I know he's a very famous hockey player, but Darren McCarty?
Never heard of him.
And Darren McCarty, the one thing I always feel like with people in Detroit is everyone that I've met seems to think that Darren McCarty would back them all up in a fight. Like, Darren McCarty apparently is that guy you want in a fight to back you up.
Yeah, of course. Well, he's a legend here.
Yeah. And so there's been some wonderful Detroit people I've met over the years.
So have you met D-Mac before?
Yes, I met him before. I do a charity event here in Detroit every year, and he's always twice now. He's been a part of it. And we kind of bonded over recovery because we're both in recovery. But every time I've talked to him, I walk away and people go, you know who that is, right? You know who that is? And I go, hey, like, dude, he's one of the greatest fighters, man. Dude, that guy's a legendary Red Wing. And so I've heard these stories about him, but I was never a hockey fan until maybe a few years ago living in Vegas and the Vegas Golden Knights really kind of
that's how me and Vinnie Paul bonded. He would text me about a week before he died. He texted me for like an hour after the Golden Knights lost the Stanley Cup.
Really?
Yeah, because he would just go crazy over it. He'd text me about hockey. I'd say, hey, man, let's do an interview about the new record. Nothing. Hey, did you see that goal last night? Oh, my God, could you believe that?
Wow, that's hilarious. Yeah, man.
I'll tell you the longer story, but I kind of felt like I overstepped my bounds at one point in an interview, and it's kind of a long story, but I got at the time I was playing with some of the NHL guys, and Nick Lindstrom was a legendary player.
Yeah.
Signed a picture for him to Vinny and blah, 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 blah. I had it framed, gave it to him, and that was like, that sealed the deal on our friendship. So,
no shit.
Yeah, so.
Have you ever had a moment where you got a phone call and it's blocked and you go, hello? And it's a famous person?
Not a famous person, but I have had some blocked phone calls, and then I usually don't answer them. So who did you have?
Well, for me, it's I don't pick them up anymore because it's either a famous person that I'm not prepared to talk to or an old Coke dealer I used to hang out with. But there was one time I was sitting at a Long John Silver's, of all places, and it's a private number, and I pick up and I go, hello. And I had just worked with this guy on a TV show. I hear, hi, Craig. It's Alec Baldwin. I'm sitting here with Andy Garcia, and we want to hear your Al Pacino impression. And I was like, yeah, let me get some hush puppies. All right, what do you need? And I walked outside, and I felt so put on the spot that I was like, man, I don't want to talk to that person right now. And like, I got to be in a mindset where I can handle talking to somebody and being put on the spot to do impressions and stuff. So I don't like being put on the spot. So
Well, I'll tell you what. I will definitely get a hold of D-Mac, and we'll see if he's got a pretty busy schedule. But I'll get a hold of him and see if we can't make it to a show Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah, man. I was going to hit him up and invite him out. There's a bunch of really wonderful people I've met in Detroit that I was going to invite out. And let's see if we can get Bob to come out to a show.
Yes, that's going to happen, too. I'm going to text him right now.
All right, I think he'll get a kick out of it because I do have a funny story about a prank call that I made that made its way back to Bob. And
You're talking about Seeger or Kid Rock?
Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Who he had a funny reaction to. I made a prank call to. I was at a radio station in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and they said, "Hey, let's make some prank calls with your impressions." And we called a bunch of people as different celebrities. We called Michael Moore, the director, who's from Michigan. Yep. And we got his voicemail. No one picked up, so I ended up leaving voicemails. And for Michael Moore, I said,
"Hi, Michael, it's Al Pacino. I am hoping that you can get a hold of a phone number for me for the greatest actor of all time, Steve Guttenberg. Police Academy 1, 2, and 4. Forget about it. Give me a call and leave me Steve's number. Hoo-ah. Beep.
And then I called a bunch of famous Michigan people, and then we called the bass player for Pop Evil, who's from
my friend Matt. Yeah.
Matt. What's Matt's last name?
Oh God! Now you're putting me on the spot. Yeah, Matt, my friend. I haven't seen him in a couple years. He's not in the band.
He's not bass player anymore.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. Really
great
funny
guy.
And so I call up Matt and I go, boop.
Hi, Matt. This is Gene Simmons from Kiss. I'm looking at my records right now at the Kiss Army Fan Club, and it seems you haven't paid your dues for over 6 years. The band owes me $78.22. You either pay me now or I'm going to make you suck Paul Stanley's dick.
And then
Matt Dorito.
Yeah. And years later, I'm in Minneapolis to do press for some shows. And the night I get in, much like when I saw you, I find out there's a concert. It's Steel Panther. I know the guys in Steel Panther. Yep. Hey, man, and they always ask me to go on stage and do something. And I find out the opening act is Pop Evil. And I knock on the door for Pop Evil. And someone goes, yeah, just go in. And I go, okay. I open the door and I go, hey, guys, weird story, but my name's Craig Gass. I'm a stand-up comedian. And I prank called one of you guys a few years ago, and Matt looks at me and goes, are you Gene Simmons? And I go, yeah. And he goes, dude, holy shit. And he goes, we played the Download Festival in England. He goes, we use that as our intro tape. And I said, shut the fuck up. And he goes, no. He goes, you said something about suck Paul Stanley's dick, but you did it like really loud. He goes, it's like, you leave, you pay us, or we'll make you suck Paul Stanley's dick. And he's like, and I go, you're fucking kidding me. And he said he played it for Kid Rock, and that Kid Rock was like, fuck this guy, let's call him right now. And like,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see him soon enough. Maybe we'll call you. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, dude. We'll have a great time at the shows this weekend. I'm going to try to get D-Mac out there, and I'll see you Friday or Saturday, whenever.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited about it. Fuck yeah to the riff.
Craig Gass in town in Waterford this week as I record this. If you're listening afterwards, that's fine as well. Go see him wherever he might be in town, wherever you are. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the Talkin' Rock with Meltdown podcast. I've got a couple interviews already in the can, which will come out later on. So I'm not going to talk too much about it as of yet. But yeah, I've already got some pretty good content coming up. Hey, thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to Talkin' Rock with Meltdown. You can help this podcast grow by giving it a 5-star rating and writing a review on Apple and iTunes. Plus, feel free to subscribe and share it with your friends. Until next time, thanks for listening to Talkin' Rock.